Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. This is Taliesin McKnight, and today I'm going to show you how to obtain the name of your guardian angel from your natal chart in astrology based on Henry Cornelius Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy, or De Occulta Philosophia, which was written in the years 1509 and 1510. Book 1 was published in the year 1531. The rest of the 3 books were published in 1533 or printed. So this was a very important text in the 16th century and would be a foundational text of Renaissance occultism and also of Magick today. So Henry Cornelius Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy is a very important text for the history of magic. Today I'm going to talk about personal daimons, or personal guardian spirits or angels. And this is very much at the root of the Western esoteric tradition. People are often very familiar with obtaining, your personal spirits and other traditions. But today I'm talking about classical Renaissance magic of the grimoires. Now, there are various forms of familiar spirits in Renaissance magic. For example, just reading through the Arbitel de Magia Veterum, or the Arbitel of Magic, which was published in Basel, Switzerland in 1575, in one of the first publishing centers of the world. The Arbitel says very clearly that several of the Olympic spirits help you to obtain familiar spirits, and in some cases even helps to reconcile you with elementals. Another example, of course, one of the more famous examples of obtaining a personal daimon or guardian spirit or teacher is found in the Abramelin. The Abramelin operation is one of the most important operations in Western magic. The Abramelin helps you to obtain your own holy guardian angel. This term and this basic concept of obtaining knowledge and conversation of your holy guardian angel, as we modern magicians tend to call it today, would be the basis of several modern systems of magic. Many modern lodge magic and things like that, which has its roots in the Renaissance. So in the Abramelin text, basically with the Abramelin, through your own pious connection to God, to the Creator, to the divine, daily prayers and things like that, you reach a certain level of purity in which you can come into contact with your own holy guardian angel in the Abramelin text, and then essentially bind the kings in the hierarchies of hell. Another example that I'll give, and I'll get back to my theme, would be the Pauline Arts, which is one of the 5 books of the Lemegeton, or Lesser Key of Solomon. Most people, when they think of the Lemegeton or Lesser Key of Solomon, they automatically think of the 72 demons of the Goetia. Now, or the Goetia, as some people correctly say, closer to the original Greek, Goetia, Goetia, same thing, I say Goetia. But there are actually 5 books of the Lemegeton or Lesser Key. One of these is the Pauline Arts, and it helps you to obtain your natal angel. In other words, the angel of your nativity, based on the disposition of the heavens when you were born. So the Pauline Arts talks about your natal angel, the angel of your natal chart, astrologically, which a lot of the Lemegeton is actually astrological magic. So today, as you can see, the concept of familiars, of personal daimons, of a holy guardian angel, of a natal angel, which most magicians would say are different. They're distinct. They're not the same thing. This concept of a personal genius or daimon would be found in Neoplatonism. Socrates himself believed that he had a guardian spirit or a daimon that would prevent him from doing something bad, that could get him into trouble. A lot of good that served him. He ended up drinking the hemlock. But anyways, back to our theme. As you can see, the concept of a guardian spirit, that you could interact and build a relationship, that it protects you, that it guards you, that it instructs and teaches you. This is found in various grimoires. Today I'm talking about Henry Cornelius Agrippa's 3 Books of Occult Philosophy. This text, the De Occulta Philosophia of Agrippa, is, in my opinion, the foundational text of Western esotericism and Renaissance magic. Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy are extremely important. I cannot stress this enough. The text is not meant to just be read through from front to back, which is what I did the first time I got a hold of the text. Agrippa's 3 books, you're meant to meditate upon a chapter. As an alchemical adage says, read and reread. So today we're specifically talking about Agrippa's 3rd book, Book 3 of his De Occulta Philosophia, Book 3 of the 3 Books of Occult Philosophy, Chapter 22 and Chapter 26. So, if you have a copy of Agrippa's 3 Books of Occult Philosophy, I encourage you to actually read this passage. And if you watch my weekly lessons, if you watch my lessons week after week, I really think it's important, instead of just listening to my lessons and then moving on, cooking, going to work, and then you listen, instead of just that, if you listen to this lesson and you take it seriously, in addition to this video, I think it's important that over the following week, you read and reread this text. Okay, so you're getting actual to the source material. Now, Agrippa's 3 Books of Occult Philosophy, Book 3, Chapter 22, Agrippa says that we all have 3 guardian spirits, or 3 angels, or spirits that serve us, that we can connect to. The first of these is called holy. And Agrippa says that the first of these spirits is above nature, is super meaning above, super, above nature, okay? That these things are super celestial. Your holy angel is not given from the stars like your natal angel, but your holy angel is given directly from the mind of God. And that your holy angel is always with you, but most people cannot hear it unless they are in a pure state of mind. When you become pure, holy, connected to the divine, connected to God the Creator, connected to the divine reality, the divine ground, if you want to take that more of a pantheistic perspective, you being spiritually elevated will make it where you can actually access and hear the voice of your holy angel. This is what Agrippa says, and it sounds very similar to the holy guardian angel of the Abramelin. I would not necessarily automatically equate these, but they sound very similar. So Agrippa says that we all possess a holy angel directly from God. It is super celestial. It's not given from the heavens, or the astrology is given from the divine. And that it always admonishes us or brings us to wisdom and speaks to us words of wisdom to help to spiritually elevate us and help us to evolve and grow. The holy angel is, again, most people cannot hear it, but it becomes audible to those that have reached a pious attitude. Now, the second angel Agrippa mentions is called the natal angel, meaning the angel of your natal chart in astrology. It is drawn from the position of the heavens at your birth. Your natal angel, according to Agrippa, helps you to accomplish whatever destiny that the stars had aligned for you. That basically your natal angel deals with your physical life, your material life. It deals with your mundane concerns. Your natal angel, the angel of your nativity, is a personal guard and protector that also helps you to accomplish basically whatever the heavens had ordained. Whatever you're meant to obtain in this life, the angel is to help you to accomplish, which you can naturally build a relationship. This is the angel that I'll show you how to derive the name, according to Agrippa in a moment. And the third angel that Agrippa says that we all have access to is the angel of your profession, meaning your job, your career. So I may actually read a small passage of Agrippa, actually, I will actually read a little passage here from, this is Book 3, Chapter 22. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll read a part. So, Chapter 22. This is Henry Cornelius Agrippa's Book 3, Chapter 22, James Freak translation. Chapter 22, Book 3. That there is a threefold keeper of man, and from whence each of them proceed. In other words, three distinct spirits, or guardians. Every man hath a threefold good daimon, as a proper keeper or preserver. The one whereof is holy, another of the nativity, and the other of the profession. The holy daimon is one, according to the doctrine of the Egyptians, assigned to the rational soul, not from the stars or planets, but from a supernatural cause, from God himself, the president of spirits, being universal above nature. This doth direct the life of the soul, and doth always put good thoughts into the mind, being always active in illuminating or enlightening us. Although we do not always take notice of it, we don't always hear it. But when we are purified and live peaceably, then it is perceived by us. Then it doth, as it were, speak with us. In other words, once you obtain a holiness, a connection to the divine, a certain sanctity, then, once you are purified, then you can hear the voice of the angel. Although we do not always take notice of it, but when we are purified and live peaceably, then it is perceived by us. Then it doth, as it were, speak with us, and communicates its voice to us, being before silent, and studieth daily to bring us to a sacred perfection. Okay, so anyways, moving on. Now we get to the spirit of the nativity. Now the daimon of the nativity, which is called the genius, doth here descend from the disposition of the world from the circuits of the stars, which were powerful in his nativity. Hence there are some that think that when the soul is coming down into the body, it doth out of the choir of daimons naturally choose a preserver to itself, nor only choose this guide to itself, but hath it willing to defend it. This, being the executor and keeper of the life, doth help it to the body and takes care of it, being communicated to the body, and helps a man to that very office to which the celestials have deputed him, being born. Okay, and then it talks about the daimon of the profession. All right, so I'm going to stop right there. So how do we obtain... Agrippa, by the way, he does not give instructions. He does not give instructions on how to obtain the name of the holy angel or the angel of the profession. But he does give us a way of obtaining the name of our nativity angel. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is a little bit complex. This is not easy. But once you obtain the name of your angel, you will have it the rest of your life, okay? And also the name of a restraining spirit that basically gives us tribulations and troubles in our lives. Supposedly to bring us closer to a connection with the divine through the trials of life, to teach us lessons, things like that. Supposedly. We all have a good daimon and a bad. In other words, one that basically we have both a benevolent being with us and a malevolent that actually brings us into trials, into conflict, and brings us into troubles in order supposedly to help us to grow. But anyways, so chapter 26, I'll go over some of these. There's several different methods. By the way, using this same method, you could obtain the name of an angel of a time. Now, I myself have not experimented with this in depth, but I know some magicians that have worked with this and it works consistently well for them, or so they say. So basically, you could not only apply to your natal chart, you can get the name of your natal angel, but you could also obtain the name of a time that, let's say you're, here, I'll just read Agrippa here, and then I'll explain. I'll go over what he says, and then I'll explain. So, Agrippa, Book 3, Chapter 26. Book 3, Chapter 26 of Agrippa. Again, I encourage you to actually read this text. Again, read and reread. So, Henry Cornelius Agrippa's De Occulta Philosophia, or 3 Books of Occult Philosophy, we're on Book 3, Chapter 26. Of finding out of the names of spirits and the geniuses from the disposition, or in other words, placement of celestial bodies. The ancient magicians did teach an art of finding out the name of a spirit to any desired effect, drawing it from the disposition or placement of the heaven. As, for example, any celestial harmony being proposed to thee for the making of an image or a ring. Now, this is important. Here, Agrippa is talking about the creation of a talisman or a ring and calling a spirit to imbue that talisman or to give it, to make it effective through the calling of a spirit with the talisman. This is the union of talismanic and spirit evocation magic. For example, any celestial harmony being proposed to thee for the making of an image or ring, a talisman, basically, or any other work to be done under a certain constellation. If thou wilt find out the spirit, the spiritual intelligent entity that is the ruler of that work, the figure of the heaven being erected, cast forth letters in their number and order from the degree of the ascendant according to the succession of the signs through each degree by filling the whole circle of heaven. Then those letters which fall into the places of the stars, the aid whereof thou wouldest use, being according to the number and power of those stars, marked without into number and order, making the name of a good spirit. But if thou shalt do from the beginning of a degree falling against the progress of the signs, the resulting spirit shall be evil. Did you get all of that? No? Okay, here we go. So, basically, you want to look for a positive astrological placement that's in harmony with what you're trying to accomplish. That's the first principle. You're not just calling on the heavens with like really bad placement and being like, I want you to grant this for me. No. You look for the proper astrological placement. Of the three so-called Hermetic sciences, astrology, alchemy, and magic, alchemy is the superior of the three arts because, at least according to the classical view, not the modern New Age, but according to the classical view of the classical Magi, alchemy and magic both relied upon the stars, both relied upon astrology to be brought to perfection. A classical Renaissance mage would certainly consider astrology a necessary art. Anyway, so also geomancy, which it's interesting that it's often referred to as terrestrial astrology, but I digress. Okay, so the ascendant is literally the horizon. The ascendant. Well, the ascendant is the horizon, the eastern horizon, and slightly below. It's what's ever about to rise is the ascendant. But basically what it's talking about, the degree of the ascendant, is referring to literally the cusp between the 12th and 1st houses. The houses in astrology are not the zodiac. The houses refer to the horizon, what's up above, what is setting, what is rising, what is beneath the earth. So the ascendant is literally, the degree of the ascendant is literally the cusp between the 1st and 12th houses. It is the eastern horizon. Basically, you have 360 degrees of the zodiac. Not the houses, but the zodiac have 360 degrees. But you begin, 0 degree will be at literally the ascendant. So what Agrippa is saying here, or the 1st degree, is you have 360 degrees of the zodiac, beginning at the ascendant and moving counterclockwise. In other words, moving through the progression of the houses, you assign the Hebrew letters. 360 degrees, that's 360 Hebrew letters placed in them. So literally on the ascendant is the letter Aleph. The next degree is Beit. The next degree is Gimel. The next degree is Dalet. He, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yud, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samek, Ayin, Pit, Tzaddik, Kof, Resh, and Tav. No finals, just ending at Tav. And then beginning again with Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, He, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samek, Ayin, Pit, Tzaddik, Kof, Resh, and Tav. Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, He. Basically going through the Hebrew alphabet. Aleph, the first Hebrew letter, being at the ascendant, and moving through the houses, the 360 degrees being the repetition of the Hebrew letters. So that the 23rd degree would be moving from the ascendant counterclockwise or under the earth. The 23rd degree would be a repetition of Aleph, the 24th degree Beit, etc., etc. So basically, by doing this, you have a Hebrew letter assigned to all 360 degrees. Now, Agrippa says, look, if you're trying to, okay, you want, like I said, the heavens to be well placed for what you're trying to accomplish. Okay, say everything aligns, like for your job, interview, or whatever, and you're making a talisman. You assign the Hebrew letters. Now, to make this easier, there are charts on the internet. Look it up online. Agrippa Nativity Angel. And you should see some different charts online or spreadsheets for this. So, anyways, so you look for the planets that are in sync with what you're trying to accomplish, and you ignore any planets that are not in harmony with what you're trying to accomplish. So, job interview, you pull up, oh, there's Jupiter, here is Venus, here is, you know, the sun, whatever. And basically, you derive those Hebrew letters based on what degree each planet is in. And then you add El or Yah at the end, and you obtain the name of the angel that represents the heavens at that particular time. It is the angel of the time. So you have angels of the hours, angels of the seasons, angels of things like that. If you read the Heptameron, for example, you'll see, you know, angels of seasons and things like that, deacons and all of this. Well, basically, the angel, ruling angel of the time is derived from, like I said, placing the Hebrew letters from the ascendant in the 360-degree circle, and then looking at those planets you want to use and ignoring the ones that are just like neutral and don't apply, and you get the name of an angel. Now, the problem is finding the proper ordering. So what I would propose as the simplest way is simply to start from the ascendant and just work your way around. So that is what Agrippa says. He says here, the figure of heaven being erected, cast in an astrology chart, cast forth letters in their number and order from the degree of the ascendant, according to the succession of the signs through each degree, by filling the whole circle of the heaven 360 degrees. Then those letters which fall into the places of the stars, then those letters that fall into the places of the stars that you would use, that are useful for your operation, being according to the number and power of the stars, marked without, you get the name of a good spirit. But if thou shalt do so from the beginning of a degree, falling against the progression of the signs, the resulting spirit shall be evil, and therefore useful for destructive works, trying to curse or destroy buildings, whatever you're trying to accomplish, blight crops, whatever, you do as a Renaissance mage that wants to do some malevolent works. Donald Tyson, falling against the succession of the signs. Donald Tyson, in a footnote, interprets this as working from the descendant. So the seventh house working clockwise is what Donald Tyson says. To me, that's not entirely clear, but that's his footnote. It works. So if you want to obtain a malevolent spirit that you can do bad stuff with, that you can do bad shit with, you look at the descendant or seventh house, and you cast the 22 Hebrew letters going clockwise, or going the other direction, okay? Starting from the descendant. Now, this video is not for beginners, obviously. It would take forever to explain each little point about astrology. I do plan to make videos about astrology basics. I cannot in this video. I would be here for like 5 hours. So for those that have the basic understanding, you can see what I'm saying. And if you really don't understand, look in the comments. Now, I'm not trying to be rude, but honest. I cannot answer the same question 50 times. I can't. If I get 100 people asking me to explain the same thing, I can't explain the same thing 50 times, okay? If you don't understand, scroll through the comments. Chances are the answer has already been given or clarified. I have way too many people. I get 60,000 views on my videos a month. That is over 1,000 clicks on my videos a day. I get too many comments. I cannot answer the messages, the comments. It's just impossible. If I had like 10 videos up and like 200 subscribers, it'd be different. I cannot answer every question. So I'm sorry, but if it's unclear, look and see if it's already been answered. I cannot answer the same question 50 times. Anyway, so anyways, hold on just a second. All right. Right, now, okay. So, descendant working clockwise. And like we have the modern astrology chart, it would be clockwise because we actually use a zodiacal circle instead of using the old square diagram, which it would still apply actually. So, that's how to get the name of a spirit for a certain time. If, like Agrippa said, if you're trying to imbue a ring with the powers of the heavens, you have a name generally for the angel that is the heavens at that moment of time to imbue your working. I have not tested this, but many people claim to get consistent results with it. So, and that is from Agrippa in the 16th century. So this is classical magic. So, moving on. Now, by this art, some of the Hebrew and Chaldean masters teach that the name and nature of any genius or spirit may be found out. As, for example, the degree of the ascendant of anyone's nativity being known. In other words, knowing where the ascendant is on your birth chart. The degree of the ascendant of anyone's nativity or birth chart being known, where your ascendant is, and the other corners of the heaven being co-equated. Corners, again, these are the angular houses, obviously. He says here, the degree of the ascendant of anyone's nativity being known, and the other corners of the heaven being co-equated, then let that which had the more dignities of planets in those four corners, which the Arabians call almutes, be first observed amongst the rest, and according to that in the second place, that which shall be next to it in the order of the dignities, and so by order the rest of them which obtain any dignity in the aforesaid corners, this order being used, thou mayest know the true place and degree of them in the heaven, beginning from the degree of the ascendant through each degree, according to the order of the signs, to cast 22 of the letters of the Hebrews. Then what letters shall fall into the places of the aforesaid stars being marked and disposed according to the order found out above in the stars, and rightly joined together according to the rules of the Hebrew tongue, make the name of a genius, to which according to custom some monosyllable name of divine omnipotency, viz. El or Yah, is subjoined. But if the casting of the letters be made from an angle of the falling and against the succession of the signs, and the letters which shall fall in the nadir, that is the opposite point of the aforesaid stars, be after that order, as we said, joined together, we shall make the name of an evil genius. Not an evil genius like, but, you know. Oh, I'm being so silly in this video, y'all. Alright, so, a bad spirit that does bad stuff, y'all. Alright, so, did you catch all of that? No? Yes? Maybe? Okay, so, this method for getting the name of your nativity angel is to look, he says first of all, on your birth chart, this is to get the name of your natal angel in Agrippa. Again, this is 3 Books of Occult Philosophy, Book 3, Chapter 26. I am going to try my best to break this down. So, knowing your ascendant and the other 4 corners of the heaven being co-equated, and looking at those dignities, those planets that have the highest level of dignities of those 4 corners, you get the order of the planets to construct the name of an angel of your nativity. So, what he's saying here, first of all, there are a couple problems with this. He says from the 4 corners. Now, it's quite obvious he's talking about the angular houses, being the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th houses, okay? Which roughly correspond to the eastern horizon, beneath the earth, the nadir, the western horizon above. Although it's not exactly above and below, you know, it's like a little tilted, it's not exact. But roughly what he's saying is is those places in the heavens. So the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th houses, looking at those planets, arranging them according to those with the highest dignity. Now the dignities refer to the system that Ptolemy used, I believe in Tetrabiblos of late antiquity, that those planets that are in their domicile or ruling house get 5 points, those in their exaltation 4 points, the triplicity 3 points, and terms 2 points, and face or deacon that the planet rules 1 point. Basically, you add this up and you find the planets that have the highest dignities. Now, here's the problem. What if you don't have any signs in those 4 houses, right? I've seen natal charts where it's like over here and over here. What if there's nothing there? So, there are a couple of routes you may go. Some may interpret this as looking at what's going on with the planets that govern those signs, but I don't think that's right. Now, another way of looking at this is first you look at the angular houses, then at the succedent houses, and then at the cadent houses, okay? So you're doing a cross, shifted across, looking at the heavens, looking at the planets with the most dignities. So, again, this is a complex subject. I'm trying my best to break this down for all of you, but, I mean, this is Agrippa for you. C'est la vie. So, basically, look at your first house. Is there a planet in the first house that's in its ruling zodiac sign? If yes, 5 points. Is the planet in its the zodiac sign that it's in its exaltation? For example, you know, if Saturn, well, that wouldn't be very good, but let's say Saturn is in Capricorn in the first house. Well, that's its ruling house, 5 points. Or let's say it's in Mars is in Capricorn. Well, Mars is exalted in Capricorn, 4 points. Is it in its triplicity, journal or nocturnal? Is it in its terms, or face or deacon that the planet rules? For example, Mars in Aries, or the first deacon of Aries. So, thankfully, you can find charts on this online. After you do the first house, then look at the 4th house, then look at the 7th and 10th. I would say next you would look at the succedent houses, being the 2nd, 5th, 8th, and 11th houses. Then look at the cadent houses, which would be the 3rd, 6th, 9th, and 12th houses. So, that is what Agrippa is saying. And I would interpret it as casting the letters instead to get the your oppressing angel or your hot or destructive malevolent spirit of your nativity would be to get from the descendant and casting the letters clockwise, okay? So, and I think I have an easier method, which I'll go into in a minute, y'all. So, now I'll just go ahead and cut to the chase of the method that I use that I found very effective. There are also the Arabians. Again, we're in Henry Cornelius Agrippa's 3 Books of Occult Philosophy, Book 3, Chapter 26. There are also the Arabians and many others, and some Hebrews, who find out the name of a genius of your nativity, your natal angel, by the places of the 5 Hyligians. Now, different people interpret what the 5 Hyligians are in different ways. Donald Tyson gives like his own interpretation, which I don't really agree with. For me, and many other magicians, and it works, the 5 Hyligians are the places of the sun in your natal chart, the moon in your natal chart, the ascendant, the part of fortune, and the syzygy, which is the very previous either full moon or new moon before prior to your birth date. So, basically, there are also the Arabians and many others and some Hebrews who find out the name of a genius by the places of the 5 Hyligians. and making projection always from the beginning of Aries, and the letters being found out according to the order of the Hyligians with the astrologers, being reduced into a known order, and being joined together, make the name of a good genius. But they draw the name of an evil genius from the opposite Hyligian places, projection being made from the last degree of Pisces against the order of the signs. So, here Agrippa changes it up a bit. You're no longer casting the Hebrew letters from the ascendant to get the good angel, or from the fall, or the descendant to get the hostile spirit or oppressing spirit. Here he says to get the good-natured daimon, begin with 0 degrees Aries. And to get the hostile spirit, begin from Pisces against the sign. So what he's saying is, now I have found this to be the easiest method, and this is the method that I use. You just put all the signs into 360 degrees, okay? So 10th degree Aries would be 10 degrees. 1 degree Taurus would be 31 degrees. 10 degrees Taurus would be 40 degrees. Basically, instead of looking at what degree of what sign, what degree of the whole zodiac, beginning with Aries, place the Hebrew letters beginning with Aries through all the signs. So 360 Hebrew letters of the 22 Hebrew letters, repeated about 16 times, beginning with Aries and moving out, okay? Find the degree of your sun. Find the degree of your moon. Find the degree of your ascendant, your part of fortune, and your Sizgi, which is the last either full moon or new moon. I found this to be the easiest method. It really is not as hard as it sounds. It's really pretty simple. You're going to need a chart of all the Hebrew letters assigned to, basically, first degree Aries is Aleph, second degree Aries is Beit, third degree Aries Gimel, and then Dalet, He, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samek, Ayin, Pet, Tzadi, Kuf, Resh, and Tav. And then 23rd degree Aries, again, would be Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, He, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod. Kaf would be first degree Taurus, Lamed, Mem, Nun, on through the degrees of Taurus, etc., etc. And basically, you have Hebrew letters to the degrees of the zodiac. Again, you're not looking at ascendants or descendants. You're looking from Aries. Basically, how do I explain this better? Okay. If a planet is in 1 degree Cancer, it would be at 91 degrees. Does that make sense? Or 90 degrees? Basically, instead of looking at just what degree of what zodiac sign, you divide the whole zodiac into degrees. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I'm trying my best, y'all. Basically, Hebrew letters, every degree of the zodiac, beginning at Aries and on and on. Okay? Then, you look at where your sun is. It may be the letter He. You look at where your moon is. It might be the letter Kaf or Lamed. Then you look at where your ascendant is, and then your part of fortune, which is part of the Arabic parts in astrology, and you look at your Sizgi, which is the exact moment that the moon last went full or new, previous to your birth date. So the 5 Hyligians, as I use them in many magicians with success to get the name of your natal angel, are your sun, moon, ascendant, part of fortune, and Sizgi. So that is basically it. And then you can add El or Yah. Now, to get the name of your oppressing spirit of your birth chart, you actually begin from Pisces and move backwards. So what I would do is, when you know the degrees of each planet and you have it written down, subtract that from 360 and you'll get the degree of the letters of your oppressing angel. Now, once you have the name of your good daimon and your oppressing angel, once you have these names, you can begin working with your good daimon. And some people would, well, there's different ways of working with that. Some people, I would not advise really like being friendly with your oppressive angel that like gives you disease and shit. Like, people nowadays, they like to say, well, we need a little bit of everything. It's not really bad. That's kind of harsh, don't you think? Like, everything's just misunderstood. Well, that's fine. If you want to bring in more forces of poverty and disease in your life, then have at it. Honestly, I think that it's a little bit too much of the new age getting into our modern occultism. But that's just me. I'm not here to judge. Anyways, so we have the name of your, I mean, if you want to bring in more disease and shit, and that's fine, but, some people like to kind of like bind that spirit a little bit, Some people might like to bind it, have it sigil and bind it and, put it in a, bind it up. Once you know the name of your good angel, you can begin working with it consciously. You could summon it. I would recommend that you don't immediately go to evoking it, because you can get other stuff that will deceive you and pretend that that's it. I would recommend that you start off with the devotional, daily prayers to your guardian angel. Now here's the thing, even if this is not literally the name of your angel, it is drawn from your birth chart and where the stars are when you were born. So it is an apt name to help you to begin connecting consciously with your guardian angel, with your personal daimon or spirit. So instead of just unconsciously, like it's there but you don't really know it, you could actually obtain realization and directly start working with the angel of your nativity. Now, most magicians would separate this and say this is different than your holy guardian angel. So don't get that confused. I mean, I'm not here to, dictate. I'll just say that the majority of magicians, and I'm one of them, would not say that these are the same thing. Your natal angel, many people, including myself, I would say that the natal angel is not your holy guardian angel. Agrippa himself agrees. Henry Cornelius Agrippa says that we have three angels or spirits that are distinct, separate spirits. You have your holy angel, is what he calls it, the James Freak translation, your holy angel. Separately, you have your natal angel, then you have the angel of your profession. I would say once you have the name of your natal angel, you can use this to start connecting with your other two angels. And this is a basic way of learning to get into contact with your own personal guardian angel based upon your natal chart and astrology. Now, I know that that was a lot to cover. I know that it may be difficult to understand. Over the next week, up until my next video, I highly recommend that you study this. I highly recommend that this week, try to find your natal angel. You won't regret it, y'all. If you're watching my videos, try to find the name of your natal angel. Try it out. I'm not going to lie. It's a complex procedure, it's a pain in the butt, but you'll have it from now on. Anyways, that is today's video on Renaissance magic and Agrippa. There are many more good videos to come, y'all. We are delving deeper into unraveling the mysteries of Renaissance magic and classical magic. By the way, a good buddy of mine by the name of Robert A good buddy of mine has a group. It is his group. I like what he's doing. I like the group a lot. A good buddy of mine, Robert, has a group on Facebook called Traditional Grimoires and Classical Magic. So if you're interested, if you want to talk about the grimoires from a grimoire purist or traditionalist perspective, check out this Facebook group. Once again, Traditional Grimoires and Classical Magic. Look it up. Check it out. Actually, below in the description box, I'll actually give a link to the Facebook group Traditional Grimoires and Classical Magic. It's run by my buddy Robert, and I highly recommend it. Now, this is a grimoire purist traditionalist group. It's not saying that people that do like modern stuff or eclectic, like I'm going to do my own thing. It's not saying that's wrong per se, but if you're going to post in this group, anything that you post has to be historical. Anything you talk about in the group has to refer directly to a classical grimoire or classical text. This is not a group where you just do your own thing or anything goes. It's not even a group where you believe in substitutions or this can be this or that. This group is all about reviving historical, traditional magic of the grimoires, trying to go by the book, classical method of Abramelin or the Key of Solomon. Like you're literally going to go and do what the grimoires actually say so that you can get what the grimoires actually promise, which is direct, face-to-face communication with some of the most powerful beings in creation. I'm not talking about vague feelings or I thought I heard something. I'm talking about full visual, full auditory hearing and seeing, direct face-to-face hearing and seeing entities, some of the most powerful beings in creation. This is what going by what the grimoires tell you can help you accomplish. If you want to use tampons for wands, you know, I would encourage you to at least try going by the classical method. You know, try it out. You know, now I am not now becoming... I had someone message me and say, well, Taliesin, it looks like you're getting biased against modern magic. That's not true. I don't think modern magic is wrong. I do think some of it's kind of new age. I don't think it's wrong. However, I have an interest in history. I have an interest in reviving the classical magic of the grimoires and of the Renaissance. It's not that doing this other stuff is wrong, per se. It's that, you know, I'm interested in going by the book of the grimoires, following the grimoires to the letter. If they tell you to get, you know, a hazel wand during the day and hour of Mercury while the moon is waxing in Virgo, then do it. Try at least. You know, if you're going to substitute, I would only do that if it's absolutely necessary. Trying to do things in the classical manner, I think that there's some good in that. You don't have to agree. That's fine, because there are different perspectives on magic. But if you join this group, you at least get to learn about a more traditional approach, and you get to hobnob with some old school, you know, Goetic and Key of Solomon and whatever magicians. But anyways, new videos come out every Saturday morning. If you want to support my channel, it is not required, y'all. If you would like to support my channel, then go to my Patreon and do that. Thank you for joining me. I will see you guys next Saturday. Thank you for joining me, and that is basically getting the name of your guardian angel from your astrological chart according to the 16th century text of Henry Cornelius Agrippa, written between 1509 and 1510, printed and published the first book in 1531. The whole text of the 3 books, the Occulta Philosophia, printed in 1533, Cologne, Germany. This is a very important text, one of the foundational texts of Renaissance magic. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys next Saturday. Have a great day, y'all.